Hello, G-Timers. Look, I'm going to quickly cover this before the episode because it's a question that a lot of the forums have been asking over the last few weeks. And I always get it, to be honest. And usually I say none of your beeswax. But just to put it to rest, the question is, when are you going to settle down, Mr. G? And are you a confirmed bachelor? That's from my Auntie June via mum. Once a month. Mum says, I'm married to my job and becoming increasingly less viable husband material. But no, to answer the question, I am currently single and ready to mingle. Am I actively looking? No. I'm too bloody busy with my productions and look, it's 24/7 work, just putting these huge shows together, so there's never any time. But look, I do feel eventually I'll find Miss Right. She's out there somewhere and she's going to have to make a bit of effort if she wants to find me because I'm so bloody slammed with work. I was just drawing set designs last night till 1 a.m. For a new musical that I'm developing about Dick Smith. The electronics entrepreneur / balloonist. But no, how does one date when one's job is 24/7? Rodney said to me once in the staff room at Summer Heights High, he said, the right person could be right in front of your eyes. I mean, there were a few honeys in the staff room at Summer Heights High, at least, but alas, at this new school, they're all dogs. So there's certainly no staff room eye candy that I've noticed here at Summer Boys. But also, when I do eventually find a wife, there's going to be a lot of stipulations. She'll have to have a love of musical theatre, of course. She'll have to be able to sing and dance and act so we can perform together. She'll need to be a multi-hyphen too, so she's on my level. She'll have to show an interest in fitness because I don't like tummy flab on a woman. And I can't stand cankles. That's the first thing I'd check if one made an advance on me. Anyway, Rodney said I'll be looking for a long time with a list like that, but I have standards, so yes, I hope that's answered the question for you guys, and let's just put that to rest and get on with the episode. Welcome to Mr. G's room, G's room, G's room. Welcome to Mr. G's room, come inside. Please be quiet, you nines. And take your shoes off and find a spot on the floor. Welcome to Mr. G's room, G's room, G's room. Welcome to Mr. G's room now.
Hi, Mr. G. So my question is, can you tell us about your new school, Summer Boys? And are you finally head of drama? And do the other staff use your plunger? And do you have a new Rodney? Thanks, Helen. Love the podcast.
Helen, cheeky guy there. That's my birth name. I go by Greg now. My middle name. I'll explain how all that went down when I do a family or childhood story. That's going to be a can of worms. So, look, my new school that I've touched on briefly, it's on the same road as Summer Heights High, just down the road. We're a public high school, but we are very, very, very elite, as we are the state's premier selective boys' school. So, yes, it's the cream of the crop, staff as well as students. The kids sit a test, and it's all the smarty pants kids from the area, and it's very multicultural, and there's a few tiger mums that we as teachers have to deal with. Very highly academic. But yes, it is the school with the state's best teachers, so I am where I should always have been. Some of the staff at Summer Heights High were, not brain dead's not the word, but there was a few nuffs there in the staff, so to be honest, I don't know how they got themselves a uni degree. Whereas here at Summer Boys, the teachers are the Ivy League of teachers, the top percentage of the teachers in the state, if not country. So I instantly just felt like I was coming home here on my first day at Summer Boys. I arrived after my sabbatical and just swanned in like I own the place. I felt like Norma Desmond going back to Paramount Studios to star in a talkie after years away from the silver screen. It was as if I'd never said goodbye. But we are a dedicated performing arts high school here at Summer Boys. Not technically, but I have an application that I've done for us to become a dedicated performing arts high school that once submitted by the principal, it's going to be just a little formality, but we will become a performing arts high school of which I will be the head of drama eventually, because I am right now, on paper, I'm a drama teacher. Wayne Warrington is head of drama here at Summer Boys, but it is commonly known amongst the whole school community that I'm running drama. So Wayne is, he's, how can I put this politely? He's clinging on. He's pushing 70. He may be in breach of employment regulations. I might actually look into that. But yes, for now, Wayne is the head of drama and I am running the show as always. So once he's out, I'm in. Do the world a favour, mate. Just retire because I'm sick of running everything by you when I know more than you. And yes, you're half deaf too, so I have to say everything twice and it drives me bloody scatty. So, lovely bloke. He's boring as batshit, but excuse my French. But look, I did almost run him over in the car park a few months ago, actually, as I was backing out. I said to Rodney it would have technically been an accident, and he's not married, so no huge loss there. But yes, no, for now, Wayne's Wayne, and I think I can put up with him for another term or two. He's directing 12 Angry Men next term, would you believe? Snoresville. So I'll be twiddling my thumbs. I'll be doing the wigs and the wardrobe consultancy and oversee everything he does creatively. But in the end, it's his boring show. So yes, I'm busting to do another musical because the theatre space that we've got here is incredible. Oh. For a public school, we're very well funded, being selective. So we've got this fabulous theatre with a fly tower and automated curtains and lighting rigs, just next level. And so I'm dying to get my mitts on it. I've got a backlog of musical ideas floating around in this little noggin of mine. I've done one show. I did a musical last year called Well, 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 about a young boy that gets stuck in a well and the whole town rally around trying to get him out for 10 days. And we never see the boy. It's just a paper mache well on stage that I built. And, the cast look down the well and try and call out to the boy until he dies. So we do see the boy at the end of the show. He comes, once he's passed, he flies out of the well as in a white sort of robes as an angel and disappears into the ceiling. And yeah, it's one of my old tricks, the old angel up concept. I just had a year 7 kid crouching in the well for the whole show until his angel moment. But it was a fabulous debut for me at Summer Boys. And my reviews were amazing. Rodney wrote one of them and I wrote the other one. So yes, but it was very rushed, and because I was only new and I was finding my feet, so it was really a warm-up. I've got big things planned and I really want to shake things up and make my mark at Summer Boys, but I'll have to endure Wayne's boring show, 12 Angry Men, and I probably won't get a chance till next year because sadly, so it's going to be a long wait. But look, there's lots more to tell you about this wonderful school. My drama teaching is going off. There's a lot of buzz about me being here, and I can just sense that the school community feels very lucky to have me. But I don't want to bombard you guys now, so let's get on with the scene analysis from Summer Heights High, the documentary, and all the goss from that after the break. Okay, let's have a look at another famous scene from my documentary Summer Heights High that we know and love. and it's the Mr. G drama classroom scene. So there I am on the Beast, greeting my students as they enter Mr. G's room with my song that I always sing. They know they're about to be entertained with various drama games and performances by yours truly, and you can see it in their eyes, the excitement of what's to come. So now all these scenes coming up here, this is very choppy. It's very fly on the wall. They just watched me for a whole day of teaching, and I must admit here I wasn't manipulated by the producers for once. This is very true to form for me to be kind of letting loose in front of the kids. So this is usually how my classes play out. It's much the same even now here at Some Boys. So, this is fun to watch actually, seeing me strutting my stuff. So we've got Thank God You're Here and Spin Around Chinaman. They're a drama staple for me. I love throwing my students in the deep end with confronting Thank God You're Here scenarios, and I still do that. I did one the other day with my boys here where I was a kangaroo that had just been run over by a truck. And I was screaming hysterically in a kangaroo voice, growl sort of thing. And I said for the boys they had to shoot me in the head. And it was very dramatic. Mrs. Warren from Food Tech actually came running in all worried because she thought I'd been injured for real. That's how good my performance as the kangaroo was. I'll Slap the Butcher. Now, this is one of my old signature games that I still play today. It's an improv game based around, it's under the banner of possession in theatre. The performer takes ownership of the rubber meat items, and I always have those in my drama room, and little meat-based rubber toys, and you hold onto the meat and you cannot give it up to your pursuer, so it usually involves a lot of running around in a circle until you get slapped. It's actually based on a family game from yonks ago. It's a Gregson thing. As a kid, well, it was my Grandpa Gregson. Dad's dad, he was actually a butcher. That was his job. And at family events or a barbecue, he'd always supply the meat, and he'd show up with those, the string of sausages, and he'd pull them out and he'd swing the sausages around his head and kind of like a lasso sort of thing, and he'd laugh, and we'd all be ducking and trying to dodge getting hit in the face by a sausage, and he'd yell out, "Slap the butcher," at the top of his lungs, and we'd all run around and laugh, and well, I'd actually be hiding somewhere behind a couch or something because I was scared. And the first one of my uncles, Dad's one of four boys, so the first one to slap Grandpa while he was swinging his sausages around would be in charge of the barbecue. So that was the prize, and usually Dad would get it, and he'd grab his tongs, and he'd wear his novelty vinyl apron with the lacy undies, and my uncles would also, they'd grab the sausages, one each, and they'd be swinging them around their lower regions and pop them out their flies, and it was all very rude and suggestive, and have sword fights with each other's sausages, and they were those very thick sausages, and their pork swords, they called them. It was very chaotic and crazy, and I was only 7 or so I'd cling on to Mum's leg, sort of quivering, and couldn't wait for it to be over, if I'm honest. But so yes, I do play the game still to this day in my improv drama classes, and the kids, as I say, love it. And when I call out Slap the Butcher, it's a mix of family fun memory / trauma, which all the best games are, I suppose. Rodney's always saying to me, he's like, "Tell that Slap the Butcher story again." He loves that one. But it's more of a nightmare for me. Now, I'd love to end today's episode of Mr. G's Room with another song from one of my early musicals. So this is a show that I wrote years ago called You Can't Skate, Mate, where I play Samantha, the tomboy youth worker in her 30s. This is one of my early forays into female impersonation, one of my many acting tropes in my arsenal. So to explain, we did You Can't Skate, Mate at Summer Heights High as a full-blown production with the students in, I think it was '05, I believe. But I had already staged the show as a two-hander with my co-op theatre group in the 90s in this tiny, tiny little theatre. That was the original genesis of the show, You Can't Skate made. And it was just me and my friend Sally from my theatre days and the co-leads of Kimmy and Samantha. Sally wasn't the best actress, but she was willing to do what I said, so beggars can't be choosers. It was, as I say, a fairly small production. I mean, we were doing it for audiences of 3 people some nights. Yes, and 2 of those were the crew, so small beginnings. But, so my character, Samantha, she worked at a youth centre. She was a youth worker, and it was right next to a skate park where the local boys would hang out, and she was a bit of a tomboy and a keen skateboarder too, so she's dropping in on the skate ramp occasionally and to sort of supervise the boys. And we had an onstage little vert ramp that I came down. And I made her quite a butch lass with, the hip padding for days. And she carried herself in a very kind of a young Jodie Foster kind of tomboyish way. And Sally, my friend, played the pretty young blonde Kimmy. And Kimmy moves into town and falls in love with a local boy who spends all his time at the skate park. And I also played the boy. It was a multiple character thing there. Had some quick changes. I'd rip the padding down and pull some shorts on. So in order to get his attention, Kimmy, she hangs out at the skate park flirting and wolf whistling and doing all the girly things. And the boys pay no attention to her. And this boy that she likes, he's just busy skating away. So Kimmy tries to skate. She jumps on a skateboard. She fails miserably, stacks it, whacking her head on the ground and gets a concussion. And the boys just laugh. So I quick change into Samantha, the youth worker with the hips. And I come out, my character, Samantha the lead, comes up with a plan that she's going to shave Kimmy's head and get her to pretend that she's a boy. And Sally, my actor friend, she actually did a buzz cut for the show. We did it live on the first night. I insisted she go all the way, and it was a sort of like an 11 from Stranger Things kind of a buzz cut. So Samantha and Kimmy show up at the skate park, and Samantha says, "Hey guys, meet the new boy in town called Timmy." And Kimmy tries to befriend her love interest while pretending to be a boy. But it doesn't work because she still can't skate. All the boys think she's just, some idiot, weird-looking boy with a buzz cut. But then Samantha, my character, comes up with a plan. She's going to teach Kimmy how to skate. So Samantha begins an intensive skate training program with Timmy. I just remember the reviews were very harsh for the original production. One of them called Samantha the predatory lesbian character, which was very unfair, especially because Sally wrote the review. But anyway, look, the song I'm going to play for you now it's my big number, Butch Samantha's Showstopper song, where I teach young Timmy, Sally with the shaved head, pretending to be a boy, I teach him how to skate. Hey there, young girl, boy. You want to learn how to skate? Well, listen to Samantha. Front side in, back side in. You want to know how to grind? You really blowing my mind, boy. Heel flip, baby. Lip slide. You gotta check if it's damp. Then jump in the vertical ramp. Just do what Samantha does. I'm a tomboy, watch me ride. And oh my golly, you're doing an ollie. Young man, it's never too late. I'm gonna teach you to skate. I'm gonna teach you to skate. Goofy foot 360 flip. You gotta focus your mind. Then you can do a nose grind. Just watch what Samantha does. You can see my tomboy style. Then oh my golly, you're doing an ollie. Young man, it's never never too late. I'm gonna teach you to skate. Baby, I'm gonna teach you to skate. Young man, it's never too late for you to ride that board and be a boy. Yes, I'm gonna teach you to skate. It goes on there, so there's a tap routine breakdown thing here, but you get the idea. So the whole second act, just to wrap it up for you guys, it culminates in a witch hunt for the predatory lesbian Samantha and the young Kimmy, who's pretending to be a boy, Timmy. And it's a very religious town, and they find it all very ungodly, what's going on. And there's a nun with a burning stake scene. And so Kimmy and Samantha hide under this bridge, and they sing this lovely duet, which culminates. They have a little romantic kiss where they both realise they're lesbians. So obviously for the school production, I just had the girls lean in with open mouths and freeze, and then I did a fade to black. We just alluded to a kiss. But for my smaller two-hander production with Sally, we went in for a full, long tongue kiss. A stage kiss, of course, so it didn't mean anything, but it was quite intense. But that's acting. I said to Sally, we've just got to go for it. So, yes. But anyway, that's it for this week, G-Timers. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'd love you to join me next week for our final episode of this season of Mr. G's Room. This season of Mr. G's Room is presented by Helen Gregson. Helen Gregson appears courtesy of Twos and Fours Management. This podcast is recorded and produced by Helen Gregson in Sydney, Australia. All songs written and produced by Helen Gregson. Audio recording by Helen Gregson. Post-production by Helen Gregson. Set design by Helen Gregson. Videography by Helen Gregson. Wardrobe by Helen Gregson. Graphic design by Helen Gregson. Special thanks to Craig from Pear for cleaning out the storeroom and Rodney Parsons from Summer Heights High for the on-air sign. The views, thoughts and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of Helen Gregson, and let's face it, Summer Heights High NDA is probably expired now, so go have a cry. Any resemblance to stories and people's deceased or alive is not Helen Gregson's fault. He's simply telling it like it is. For updates, follow the Mr. G's Room Facebook page. This is Helen Gregson Productions. See you next week, everyone. And remember, it's G time, not free time. Take your shoes off and find a spot on the floor. Welcome to Mr. G's Room, G's Room, G's Room. Welcome to Mr. G's Room now. Hey there, young girl, boy. You want to learn how to skate? Well, listen to Samantha. Front side in, back side in. You want to know how to grind. You really blowing my mind, boy. Heel flip, baby. Lip slide. You gotta check if it's damp. Then jump in the vertical ramp. Just do what Samantha does. I'm a tomboy, watch me ride. And oh my golly, you're doing an ollie. Young man, it's never too late. I'm gonna teach you to skate. I'm gonna teach you to skate. Goofy foot 360 flip. You gotta focus your mind. Then you can do a nose grind. Just watch what Samantha does. You can see my tomboy style. Then oh my golly, you're doing an ollie. Young man, it's never too late. I'm gonna teach you to skate. Baby, I'm gonna teach you to skate. Young man, it's never too late for you to ride that board and be a boy. Yes, I'm gonna teach you to skate.